The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on the break!
with Ambar Garcia, Bryan Broaddus, Voch Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Thursday, October 9th, 2025, season 21, episode number 54. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break, live from the SWBC Morgan Studios. At the Star, we are presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at LG.com/OLED Evo. That is exactly why, if all you do is listen to the audio, you miss the greatness of this show. Because Amber just rolls in late and then just decides she's just going to have a dance break in the middle of the intro. So that's what we do here on The Break.
Well, watch over there, me mugging.
You know what I'm always thinking?
For what?
Well, Derek let me get away with that. That's something I'm always thinking.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, bro, let me
How
explain
many times
something
have
to
you been late and we're sitting here waiting on you?
Ambar, some people aren't allowed
And I
to
was
be
on a
late.
work call, by the way.
Some people, that's fine. Some people aren't allowed to be late.
So let me be clear. Are you asking if it would be okay if you're late, or are you asking if it would be okay if you had a dance break in the middle of the intro?
Both. I can't walk in dancing.
Well, let me just say this.
be on
Let me just
time.
say this. I'm good for ratings. So whatever brings ratings, if
Dancing
you
around,
dancing, if you getting up right now and getting in the camera and dancing brings us ratings, I'm gonna be like,
I might
dance.
as well paint my face, put a red nose on, huh?
15 years, he ain't lying.
Hey
I
man,
might as well.
bring me numbers. Bring
I
me
might as
numbers.
well.
He ain't lying.
Bring me.
See what
numbers.
they do for views. I'll be.
You live in that YouTube world, you know.
that
Sometimes you
is
got to
true.
do what you got to do.
That is true. I ain't never put no nose on them.
Right. Facts. That's facts. All right.
I
What we
would
gonna
do
do?
it if it got numbers.
I wouldn't.
Brian absolutely would.
I dressed like Ben Franklin one time for numbers.
Yeah, you did.
You know what? I'm still
Yeah, you
waiting
did.
for you to come in here dressed up as a lady. What was that
Oh,
lady?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Remember? From
Yes, I do remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I hate the most, though. Like if I'm researching a topic, I say, man, I'm about to break down the best film I've ever done. Boy, I saw something on film that's gonna make us look smart. I might get 1,000 views on that video, but something goofy,
Right.
100,000,
Go crazy.
150.
Yeah, go crazy.
That's how it goes.
Fall down in the Avis parking lot. You
People
get,
just
you know,
love,
doing,
people
doing
love crazy.
live, being on live, and then you fall down, and then you get 1 million views.
Yeah.
Falling down.
That's how it goes.
Crazy world.
All right, here's what I want to do today. Today, we're going to get into the Carolina defense versus the Dallas offense. We'll do that in the second segment. Before we get there, though, I wanted to have a conversation about these running backs. Interesting matchup this week when you talk about Rico Dowdle and you talk about Javonte Williams. Last offseason, Dallas opted to sign Javonte Williams as opposed to re-signing Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle goes to Carolina, gets a one-year, $2.75 million deal. Williams signed here in Dallas for a one-year, $3 million deal. So the money wasn't very different. Both of them got one-year deals. My first question for you guys is, how do you compare and contrast these two backs in what their skill sets are relative to, if you were trying to last year make a comparison between these two and making a decision on who you wanted to have, give me how you would make that comparison.
So you want me to talk about this with hindsight that Williams is healthy now and he's who he is, or because Williams being hurt was a big part of his situation, like him being hurt and then coming back from that. So that's why when we see him at Denver, he's like rotating the bunch with some of these other running backs I didn't think were all that great. I didn't have a high opinion of him, but I knew who he was in college and that rookie year of his, right? So if we were
That was a nice rookie
guy,
year, by the way.
fantastic rookie year. But just kind of looking at it now, Williams is, he was always more of a complete guy to me. He was a fantastic blocker. Rico caught the football, but I thought that Williams was a better catcher of it. It's just that Denver didn't always throw it to him. They'll have another guy to come throw it. But if you watch, Carolina tape, like they were throwing him the football, he was just fine doing it. Then he turns into this big physical yak guy after he caught the football. Rico didn't always get the mental side of blocking, and then once he got there, I don't want to call it an effort issue or anything like that, but he don't work here no more. There was plenty times where we felt like Rico was the guy, but the coaching staff felt like Rico just wasn't doing enough to be that dude. Also, what I think probably played a
You hold
big
a
role.
grudge. Like Every
working
time
no more.
you talk about somebody that's no longer here, you throw a little jab.
Hey, let that be a hint to you,
Little
Amber.
chat.
You ever leave? You ever leave?
Let me tell you about working with Ambar Garcia. It ain't fun. No. But also
Wow.
too, like if I had to guess what the coaches and front office thought about it, Rico was here for 5 years. He was only healthy 1 whole year. So maybe they just wanted to move on from him and just try something different.
I'd like to have seen him in this scheme.
It would have been fun. Huh?
Well,
I'd
you're
like-
getting into my next question. but go ahead.
I would have liked to have seen him. Okay, well then I'll let you ask your next question.
Javonte doesn't matter.
No.
Well-
the thing about I personally I was really wrong about Williams, and I admit that. I think Williams is a better player. Don't get me wrong about that either. But I would have been interested to see Rico Dowdle because you watch him at Carolina. I mean, the Miami game was they blocked that thing up perfectly. But you watch the other 4 games up, he wasn't a productive player. I mean, and there's been times, but the thing I always appreciated about Rico was how he tried to make something out of nothing. You know, he's got the same type of the toughness. I think Williams is a little bit better in that regard. But I will say this though, I would love to have seen Rico play in this scheme where these offensive linemen, the way they come off the ball, and then with the tight ends, the way they block at the point of attack.
Do you think Williams' patience works better with this group of guys? Even these young guys, right? Like this backup crew, this all
His
backup
vision's probably better. I think that you talk about patience.
Sure.
I think Williams. I think he is I think Rico's kind of a natural runner.
Yeah.
I think that with Williams though, there's that instinct to know that I'm going to press this and I'm going to cut it, and I know where to be. He has an understanding where the fits are. How he really understands how his line is going to block and his tight end's going to block, and he takes advantage of that. I think I guess the word would be cerebral, more of a cerebral back, and I say that in respect of that he kind of has plays called. I know where I need to start, but I'm probably not going to finish there. I need to have another plan where I think Rico was a take it and go guy. You know,
So on that big run last week, you say Rico break out and he'll get caught in the middle of the field and get tackled all the time and run out in the half, but Javonte has awareness to get out of bounds. Brian.
that man ran to the sidelines and pulled the ball away, worrying that someone was going to try and grab it from him because it happened.
stuff matters.
It happened in the Chicago game.
I will say this: we do a video piece here called "What Had Happened," and we typically will take an iPad to a player and we say, "Okay, tell us what happened on this play," and then the player will diagram the play. And we did it this week with Javonte, and he laid out that long run. And the interesting part about that is he was saying, as soon as the play began, he could tell by where the offensive linemen were going and where the defenders were. He was like, I knew it was a big play right here.
TJ Bass pulled outside and made the linebacker go.
And he said, as soon as I saw that and as soon as I saw the linebacker commit, I knew, big play, here we go. He said, now, I didn't realize I was going to get caught, and y'all got to give me a little bit of grace on that one because I ain't run this long since high school. But I knew it was a big play at that moment. And it goes to your point, Brian, like he really sees the game in a way. I think that's really, you were right.
I make a lot of those, so this is cool, Brian.
But no, I think that's a great point that he does have a vision. He has great vision and sees the plays happening even before they do. And I think that's a part of why I think patience is a part of that. When you can see it, then you know, okay, give me a tick here and then I go, right? So you know where you need to be at the right time.
Rico ran into a lot of defenders sometimes too. That was just,
He ran to darkness.
like trying to be physical, he'll just run into guys on
bounce off,
which is different than like Javonte trying to avoid. But once we're here, now he's physical and run guys over. I would see Rico just run right into a 3-tech that's getting blocked by somebody, and it'll be a negative play. But
so now go to that point. Do you think that if they would have made the decision they were going to keep Rico? Do you think right now we'd be looking at Rico saying, man, Rico's playing like one of the best running backs in the league because the scheme is just so good?
But I don't like to live in the past. I like to live in the present and look at the future. Okay. No, because if we play in that game, it's like, oh, I would have liked to see Tony Romo playing behind that line and Ezekiel Elliott.
Sure.
No hate to Dak. That season was magical, but there are a lot of ifs. We're good now. So why analyze it? Why start? I mean,
because Zach Martin, Tyron, Travis Frederick would be firing this scheme.
Oh boy! Oh my!
Look at his eyes.
I know.
They'll be crazy in this scheme. That's some football talk right now.
that timeline
no doubt.
is
I'm sorry.
gone.
Yeah.
We missed on that.
If you think this offensive line, put that offensive line in this scheme,
won some Super Bowls with Zeke and them and DeMarco.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but
That's
okay.
you
Anyway.
choosing to be sad.
I'm sad.
Because you can't do nothing about it. The time, that time is far gone. It's
football.
Far gone.
Hypotheticals are part of it. What if Dale caught it?
But
He did catch
They
it.
did catch. I was standing right
Yeah,
there.
he caught it.
Super Bowl.
What if they'd have called it a catch?
They would have beat Seattle.
yeah.
Beat them early in the year.
Lo siento. Go ahead, please.
But do you guys
don't
think
know.
that it would be the same thing?
Yeah.
Do you think it would be the same? They would be getting the same production out of the running game if they had Rico?
I think they'd be. Oh, okay. Rico. I thought something.
Yeah.
Rico,
Them guys.
yeah.
Rico would still be good here, and let's just be clear. Rico was the better back last year. It was him and it was Zeke. And for some reason, I don't know why, but past administrations will kind of force Zeke into a game or they'll force carries on him. It's still a mystery, this San Francisco game last year. They say, hey, y'all, Rico.
Flu game.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle's sick, y'all.
Yeah.
And we're going to play Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott. And shouts out to DallasCowboys.com. We got the best media team. Great. Everybody got cameras and phones. Boy, Rico Dowdle on the sideline dancing. He kicking it. He breathing well, standing up tall. He ain't got he ain't got oxygen on. He looks healthy. Just good. Fine. And in 2 days, he right back practicing, just recovered from that damn sickness. I'm curious. Past administration.
I'm glad you're looking at him and not me.
I'm curious as hell as to what happened
Sounds
to
like
your
a
better running back.
conspiracy theory.
And Rico, I just got a question. And Rico Dowdle was a 1,000-yard rusher still, despite all that. Yeah. I think Rico would be great here.
Okay, yeah, I know. I see what you're saying. Here's my next trick here.
Por favor.
Get Blue going like this.
Yeah.
Get Blue going.
Sure.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I'm interested to see.
I'm not interested in the past.
I'm not talking about the past. We're talking about Blue. Is he in the past?
I'm just kidding you. Go ahead.
The point. What I was gonna say, and sorry to interrupt you.
No, you did
But
good. You're
but
fine.
what I'm trying to say is like, I mean, I would love to see more of different backs because that would tell you, is it the O-line creating those gaps for the running back where you can plug in pretty much anybody and they're still being successful at the run game, or is it truly the combination?
No,
like what
you're right.
What brings?
If all of a sudden you don't see that Blue, and if he gets opportunities and he doesn't have similar success, then to answer Derek's question, Williams is clearly better than. I mean, they made the right call that they got the right back. But man, I'd love to see Blue. I'd love to see Blue get going like this and see, because I think that there's a chance that he might even be better than what you have with Williams, at least explosive wise.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, and Bryan, you'll remember this. I'm not sure.
Earl
if I took
Campbell
this
was a
before
hell of a
you.
player.
Yeah, he was. But I want to talk about. I'm specifically mentioning the Denver Broncos back in the 90s. I want to say it was when Shanahan was the head coach. Yeah. And they could literally every year plug in whatever running back. That scheme was just so hard to defend. They had, it was guys as good as Terrell Davis. Yeah. They had guys like Orlando's Gary that would just running the heck out of the ball, right? And it was just like it didn't matter what running back. Reuben Drones one year was their back. Like they could plug anybody in, and they could plug anybody in, and they would have success in the running game. And it was because the scheme was so good. Right. And I do wonder. Obviously, it's very early, but I will say this: Arizona's run game looked really good when he was in Arizona, and now that has come to Dallas. It is starting to make me think the scheme is just a scheme that maybe. It is agnostic to whoever the running back is. You're going to have better success with a better back, but you don't have to have a great back in order to get success.
I think this scheme, it doesn't make your linemen have to hammer somebody up front. Mm-hmm. I think they use angles. I think they take advantage of the athletic ability. Yeah. They're not asking anybody when they have to get somebody moved, what do? And Booker is capable of moving a guy by himself. Sure. What do? They take Steele and put Steele and Booker together, and now they're moving somebody. Mm-hmm. They never ask anybody to really have to have one-on-one blocks. Yeah. It's a lot of angles. It's a double team. It's pullers. It's a really good offense that doesn't make – if your offensive line is not that hammer you off the ball group, Steele's not a hammer you off the ball guy. Neither is Guyton a hammer you off the ball guy. Booker is. Yeah. Booker and Smith can hammer you off the ball, and Spanford can hammer you off the ball. So it's really a good combination of they've learned who can get movement with double teams and then also pull to clean up or kick or do whatever they have to do to create space.
Also, too, just be clear, Williams was a second-round pick.
He was.
He was like 35 or something, 37th overall, I believe, like that. So, like, that's still like a back that's worth, looking at. This ain't like, I always say, man, we can talk about these seventh-round guys that come in and play and they do well, but every one of them is like 10 Mike Webbers.
You taught me something.
What'd I say?
Oh.
Krosky Merritt.
Krosky Merritt can play.
Yeah, you watch Krosky Merritt play, and we'll see the Commanders here next week. That's a back that was taken very, very late. That probably should have been taken in the third round.
Sure.
I mean, there's these backs. It was a litany of them. There was a ton of them.
Blues.
And I give you credit. You said no, go get this cat. You tried to get that guy, but that's sometimes you do. Sometimes these teams do miss on backs. Sometimes they miss on these backs.
All right, we're going to take our first break. We'll come back. We'll dive into the Carolina defense versus the Dallas offense. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Hey.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman here. As the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys, you know I take cookware seriously, especially when it comes to America's team. So when the Cowboys are away, I'm putting my Yeti cast iron skillets to work to make my game day favorites for friends and family. I'm talking chicken fried steak, skillet queso, and peach cobbler. And just like the Cowboys are forever, so are these heirloom cast iron skillets. Check out the full line of skillets on Yeti.com or at a Yeti store near you.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Don't put off getting your oil changed, Dallas. Take 5 Oil Change, a proud partner of the Cowboys, is faster than you think. They're so fast, you don't even have to get out of your car. You can take advantage of Take 5's stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change at any of their locations across the Dallas area. And remember, at Take 5, you stay in your car because they're faster than you think. That means you won't even have time to show off your best touchdown celebration. Take 5, the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to the break.
Oh. Choose perfect.
What's happening here?
Derek just spilled coffee.
I would say Derek's a distracted player.
It's Derek's fault.
Y'all wouldn't like this.
He just made a mess in the studio. And the irony of this is if anybody else would have done this, he would have been so mad and rolling his eyes. But choose perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
What a star.
I almost said a paper towel company, and I got worried that they're not a sponsor.
Yeah, we don't just throw names. We don't throw names out there. They're in the building.
I almost threw a catchphrase with a paper towel company, and I thought,
No.
About the real fast one?
Thank you.
Yeah.
No. We don't throw any names out there, brands, unless we know they have already paid us some money.
Yeah.
All right, we welcome back.
TVs, that would be even better.
We're working on that. Welcome back.
Soak the coffee up. Just take the whole.
Just
TV.
like we're working on.
He's not wrong. He would be so damn mad right now if it was somebody else.
I would. Welcome back to the second segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. This segment brought to you by blockchain.com.
I think it's so crooked.
Is it?
It's upside down. You don't see it?
It is.
It's upside down. Nah, man. No.
Bruh.
Come on, man.
Bruh, quit messing with me, man.
Hey, y'all. Voch and Bryan going to talk to y'all about the Carolina Panthers defense. Bryan.
Well, go ahead, man. Talk about them.
Nah,
Talk about what you like. What do you like about this, or what do you not like about this Carolina Panther defense?
They're an interesting combination of dudes, Bryan. You know, they're an interesting.
It's like a
It's a good way to put it.
They're an interesting combination of dudes. They got, I think,
Phil's a strange lady.
They are. I think they got corners that are pretty solid.
Yes.
You know, when I was watching them my whole life, they've always been like man guys.
How about that?
But they run a bunch of zone. If you think about JC and Mike when they were in college, they were mostly man up on guys, but they run a whole bunch of zone over there, Bryan.
88%.
And they kind of deal with a lot of these passing concepts, like assuming that they can block things up front or that things can't get blocked up front, and they get some good pressure going. They don't always get pressure going though, Broaddus. So they don't get a good opportunity to utilize their coverage abilities, Bryan. If you look up deep attempts on them, because that's one thing I always do, is see where the chunk yards coming from, the big plays coming from.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of attempts on them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really complete them here. So I'm like, man, where's all the, for the lack of better words, where's all the ass whoop coming from when they put points on Carolina? And
Where is it coming from?
It's always in the intermediate, Ambar Garcia. Thank you very much.
Thank
It's always
paying attention.
She's paying attention. It's always in that middle. It's always short game. But more importantly, if you could deal, because they're an interesting group of guys, they got two D tackles that can deal with the run really well.
They do.
But if you can block those dudes, nobody else wants to tackle anybody. So if you're looking for a way to get them, it may not be chunk yardage in the air early. Maybe later you can figure something out. Maybe you can hit something over the middle and then get yak yardage. But if you really want to beat the hell out of the Panthers here, you just run the football constantly.
Yeah, they used to have a Frankie Louvu who's now playing with the Commanders. Frankie was a guy that could really attack the line of scrimmage, could run through gaps, sideline to sideline. We always talk about those guys that make a lot of plays, and we've seen them at the Commanders make those plays. Voch is right again about these cornerbacks, though, and so but what's different about these corners? Last week you saw a traveler. You saw a traveler with Sauce Gardner. This time around, though, you'll see a guy that plays to the short side of the field. And Jerry Madelon, I'm doing this for you right now, bud. These are he plays as a boundary corner, and we're talking about J.C. Horn. He's one of the better corners in the league, but when he plays as the boundary corner is usually to the side of the hash that's near the sideline. So if the ball's on the right hash, the boundary would be to the defense's left. So he plays that side of the field, and then on the other side, you're going to get what we call the field corner. And more grass to cover over there. So in pro football, the hashes are kind of close. It's not as bad as what you see in college football with them being apart, and then so you're more having to cover more ground. But in the pros, a little bit shorter. But the boundary corner, usually those guys will play to that side, and they'll use the sideline to help them. Voch is right again about this. This team plays a lot of zone coverage.
Calm down.
Well, I'm just saying that what he says. I'm acknowledging him on this because they do play a lot of zone coverage. They play just as much zone coverage as the Cowboys do.
89%, Bryan Broaddus.
And they're going to play it at 7 yards depth. Is what they're going to do.
Start with the percentage that brought.
So you're gonna sit there. You're gonna have guys that playing with 7 yards off. So you're gonna have space in front. Yeah. And then also in the slot, they play at about 5 yards. So you're going to get zone coverage with some depth. So here are your slants. Here are your in-breaking routes. Here are the things that you want to do. Now, if you even want to do this, and if you want to run the ball, say you want to run the ball on the outside. We talked about the Cowboys running game a little bit earlier and what Williams could do. But if you want to get it on the outside, you got a corner over there in Horn that's really not interested in tackling. He will try, but he's really not. So you could understand that if you can set your formation to where he's going to play into the boundary, and then you put bigger bodies over to that side and just mash that edge and then make him have to come up and defend, that's a little bit of a problem for him. So Dallas will hopefully be able to take some advantage of that.
Not to get too much into the football side of that, the analysis, but I do want to know, why do teams make the decision on a boundary corner versus a field corner, and who goes on which side? Because my initial thought as you were saying that was, I thought J.C. Horn was one of the best corners in the league.
Yeah. Sure.
You would think if you got a side that's got more grass to cover, you'd put your best guy on that side. To hear that he's a boundary corner, what would be the thought process in making him the boundary corner?
Some guys deal with certain routes better.
Yep.
So if you're on the boundary side, which is less field, it's a lot more narrow over there. So you're talking about corner routes, you're talking about deep balls.
So it's about the routes that he can cover well.
As opposed to a guy like Mike Jackson, who can move quicker, maybe faster. Slants, you got a lot more room on crossing routes, breaking in routes. And maybe you don't want J.C. Horn having to cross the field on somebody.
Right.
Now, if I'm dealing with a bigger receiver or something like that, J.C.'s really good at that, working backwards versus bigger guys. If he has to play square and work in both directions, that may not be his game. Same thing with like nickel guys. If you're in the nickel, you're more in the middle of the formation. So now you have to be a guy that has better hips to work outside,
two-way goes,
inside, deeper, all those things. So yeah, he's a guy that is a good corner, but to your point there, maybe you wouldn't call him one of the absolute best corners because he's not a guy that plays.
There still are limitations.
For sure.
Yeah, he was taken one spot after Patrick Surtain, right?
Right.
Who was
and it was suspected that Dallas liked both of those players.
Yeah.
That was in the Micah Parsons draft.
The coaches really liked Horn. Mike McCarthy coached his dad in New Orleans. And so they had an understanding. The scouts will tell you Surtain was more ready to play. It was kind of buttoned up, wouldn't take chances. Horn was a chance taker. And that's why
that was his dad, the receiver from New Orleans?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know
Joe
that.
Horn.
I know it was his dad.
Yeah.
So both of those players, their dads played in the NFL.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
interesting.
And they were taken right after the other.
Yeah.
But
Mike McCarthy love to do favors for people that he knows.
You ain't got no love for Mike, do you?
I love Mike McCarthy. Man, we won a bunch of games, man. But he had glaring issues. To your point though, Brian Broaddus, with this whole run game stuff.
Yeah.
I just encourage everybody to play a good old game of what if with this Dolphins game, because I just think they came out there with a weird approach to it. They didn't get to the linebackers very well. The linemen didn't. They didn't climb to the next level very much. And when you see that Carolina, they didn't give up a bunch of big runs because of that, right? But all these other games, right?
Yeah.
The majority of the games,
right?
These linebackers don't really want to get blocked at all.
This was a really strange game when you watch the tape and you could kind of put
Wallace and Rosenboom. Go ahead.
Yeah, you put them all together, and the Dolphins had no explosive runs.
Yeah,
and it was really. And then it's funny, this defense. You go back and you look, and they played. I was thinking, why against the Cardinals, and it might have to do with playing against Kyler Murray. They played a bunch of just base, and I mean just their normal personnel. Maybe it's having to deal with Kyler Murray and all that. So. We'll see. Dallas has got to the Panthers got to figure out something here is that they've got guys in the secondary, and Morig, I think, is a good player that they got from the Raiders, and he plays down a lot in the box. But what they have to figure out is how do they want to in this game? How do they want to treat? Because you don't have a traveler. So you're going to get Pickens. You're going to get him to kind of. You saw him move last week. He was switching to the left and the right and some of the stuff. But how are they going to play against Jake Ferguson? Now the great thing is that you had some guys show up last week. So if all of a sudden Tolbert didn't show up and Flanoy didn't show up, then all of a sudden now it's like we don't have to worry about that. We're now you have to at least account for those guys. So Carolina is going to have to account for your tight end. They're going to have to account for Flanoy, and they're going to for sure have to account for Pickens. How much is that going to allow? They play a lot of single high, safety in the middle of the field. Everybody take a third and try and help in the running game with the safety. So how are they going to treat Jake Ferguson? I think will be really, really key for them in this game.
All right, go ahead.
Brian, something that was interesting real fast. You remember we were watching college film on Lathan Ransom?
Yes.
From Ohio State. We always thought he was a guy that was very physical. He was like a thumpy, tackly guy.
Right.
But he wasn't a guy that I would want playing deep or playing a whole bunch of coverage and stuff. Watching their film, he does play deep a bunch, and our guy Morik, who I would assume would play more deep, but Morik is
he's
down.
They like him. Like
he's down.
If you look at him from where he was with the Raiders,
sure.
That's kind of where he made his living. If you play a lot of that cover three, that single high safety, he was a guy that was always going to be down, and like he was a very, very sure tackler down there. Yeah. And people like that about him when he signed.
Just based on college knowledge, that might be a segment. Just based on college knowledge, I might try to throw it deep on Ransom just to see if
just to see. Yeah.
Just to see.
All right, we're going to take our final break. We'll come back. We're going to do a little shining star, falling star. I got some offensive names I want to throw at you guys, and I want you to tell me how you think they're performing, not just last week, but through the first several games of the season. We'll talk about that when we come back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
we're with you. We're united.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Back to the break.
AT&T, connecting changes everything.
You're really good at that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Welcome back. It's final segment of the break live from SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. This segment is going to be brought to you by blockchain.com.
Again?
We didn't do it in the second segment, did we?
We did.
We did. I'll tell you what, blockchain, we gave you a little bonus right there. You got a second.
To me.
You got a second segment.
It was because you spilled the coffee.
Yeah, I was distracted. I was very distracted because Amber just knocking over my coffee.
No,
All
again,
so
getting
here's what we're
blamed.
gonna do.
People
We're going
are
to talk
really
about
gonna think that I'm just a mess, and I just get attacked from everybody. The only one on my side is Bryan.
Bueno,
sometimes
that look, that ain't even the fact. Like that's not.
Won a couple of sports Emmys with her, man. We're all good. We're all good.
All right, here we go. Shining star, falling star. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw out some
Your
names.
future could look very bright.
This is
Voch.
crazy. I'm not finna let you, please.
Your future is very bright.
I don't want to Emmy that bad where I gotta just comply and just let you just talk to me crazy.
Especially like you're not going all in like that. You got some standards.
If I win one, I mean, cool.
You have limits.
but I'm not gonna be bringing you lunch and donuts.
No. I don't do that.
Okay.
I respect others, you know.
But I will say,
I treat you.
Let's do a documentary, win an Emmy. Then let's do it.
If you attach yourself
Bring
to
some
this one,
ideas.
you're gonna win an Emmy.
Bring some
Just
ideas.
know you're gonna win an Emmy.
We're
if you
open
attach
to
yourself.
ideas, right, Derek?
Yeah,
We're welcome.
The rise of Voch Lombardi.
Content about me. Yeah.
From Pizza Hut to Sparta.
All right, here we go. Shining star, falling star. I'm going to throw out a name. I want you guys to tell me whether they are a shining star or they are a falling star, and give me a little bit of context on what you've seen from them in the times that they've been on the field this season. Let's start first with Nate
This season,
Thomas.
5 games?
Yeah, it could be for Nate Thomas. It will be a lot less because he hasn't played every game. But for what you've seen this season, the shining star or falling star, Nate Thomas.
He's shining. Nate Thomas is very much so shining. I want everybody to kind of pump some brakes on some of these, job takings from some of these people. But I do think for the Cowboys and what they're asking for these, backups. And shouts out to Dak for being a leader. Dak don't even like to say backups. He just said guys that are waiting on their opportunity. That's a fantastic way to say it.
Yeah, it is.
Nate has stepped up and he's done what he's asked and shown a bit more. He has to work on some of those lunges and kind of keeping his feet, but Nate has done fine. Nobody's gotten killed. So for rising to the occasion, offensive lineman is a fantastic start.
Yeah, I would say I would say that's exactly what he is, and give the guy some credit for really missing all of last year, kind of getting redshirted. A lot of probably lonely days in the weight room, hanging out and working by himself. Nobody really knowing, oh yeah, this is one of our teammates, but not really being a part of it. Then coming back, and then all of a sudden OTAs, you see him, he's the second right tackle, and you're like, man, they got a plan for him. So once again, offensive line coaches kind of seeing body type, maybe getting a little bit of a head start there. But when he had to go in and play, we saw in the preseason, he did a fine job. And then all of a sudden, there was some talk about him, having to maybe start in week 1 against Philadelphia, and he kind of felt pretty decent about that. So for him to kind of wait for his chance to get an opportunity to take advantage of it, the technique stuff will improve. Experience will help that. But overall, though, I think that's a rising star for you right there.
Same. Agree with you guys. And I'm also biased, though, because I love his personality. He's just such a goofy, funny guy that it's hard not to like him. So I like him on the field and off the field.
Sure. Jalen Tolbert, shining star, falling star.
It's falling. Jalen Tolbert made a fantastic play.
You are not loyal.
No.
You are not a loyal guy.
I am loyal to honesty. Jalen Tolbert made a fantastic clutch play. Looking like a baseball player out there, catching that pass over there at Green Bay. But I think for the most part, I think the quarterback and the head coach has a lot of confidence in him. So I think when we go into games, that's why we see things like, they have a lot of confidence in him, but it doesn't always show on Sundays. They always, talk about him as he works hard, he's going to show up, and he's good with the young guys and da-da-da and all this. But I don't think that's enough when it comes to, are we going to put the best guy out there? I think 19 has kind of passed him up pretty well there. And that kind of showed last week when Tolbert only had 1 target and, 19 had 9.
Yeah, I think that they're in a situation right now where I think if you had to talk about, I always talk about sponsors and who's sponsoring. And sometimes you have to have somebody on that coaching staff or somebody in the front office. I do think he has a very important sponsor. I think it's Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott says, listen, I want Jalen Tolbert out there. I trust Jalen Tolbert. I'm going to throw him the ball when I can. I know he's going to go make a play for him. And I think the coaching staff sees that. I think the front office knows that. But you're right about some of these other receivers. We've seen Turpin rise to the occasion. We've seen now Flanoy rise to the occasion. How close is his spot from being on the active? We'll see what happens with Mingo. I kind of felt like that when Mingo was off, it really wasn't about the others. It was about really where was Turpin here. But I just do believe that as long as Dak Prescott is in this position, he is going to always campaign for this guy because I think he believes in him, and at times he has delivered, but I think the others are, like Voch said, are rising above him.
Yeah, I would say for him, it's hard to discredit what he has done because he's made, like we talk about that catch. That was an amazing catch, but at the same time, at this point in his career, he should be further along. So to me, I don't want to say he's falling or rising. He's just kind of flat, like there. So, yeah, neutral, I guess, for me.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about Jalen, I think I'm speaking for myself. I think I have tried to put him in a cast of maybe a different player than he is. He is not a volume receiver. He has not been. He's a guy that you put him out there and he can reliably do the things you're kind of asking him to do, and he'll make a catch or two for you. And some of them are going to be huge catches. Last year, he had 8 touchdowns. It led the team. He can make catches for you. He's just not a volume receiver. And so I think when I start thinking about it like that, I'm like, okay, so it's not that he's a bad receiver. He's just not a guy that's going to go out and get you 6 to 8 catches in a game. That's just not what he does. And I listened to the coach yesterday talk about how he calls games, and he calls games. He says he calls plays for players, not necessarily for specific, like, get the ball in this area. It's more about I'm calling a play to get it in a specific player's hands. And that tells me all I need to know. If last week he gets one target and you see somebody like Illinois who gets a ton of targets, it means that they have a little more faith in him being more of a volume receiver than maybe what they're looking for, as looking for opportunities to get the ball into Jalen Tolbert's hands. But I think, like, again, I agree with you, Amber. I think he's kind of just there. I don't think he's rising. I don't think he's falling. I think he just is what he is.
Plateaued. That's a good word.
He's plateaued. By the way, that's not a bad receiver to have, a guy that you can get a play or two out of, and he can just kind of be one of your guys. Sure. You just don't need to miscast him into being your second receiver or maybe even your third receiver in this instance.
Well, coming out of school there.
Third round pick.
Yeah, I mean, he was, you watched him in college, he was a volume catcher.
Yeah.
And he would make incredible plays. And the hope was that he could be that guy. And I'll give him credit. Last week, there were a couple of routes that he ran that drew coverage to get other guys open. Mm-hmm. If you want to really break down and nitpick the guy, maybe he's not getting the ball, but damn, he's running a route that draws a safety down on him on a crossing route that gets Illinois behind him on a 2-level read that makes a 40-yard play.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the kinds of things but him coming out of college and you watched him, Amber's right, he should be at that level where he is getting 6-7 receptions.
But for whatever reason, they don't feel like he's worth that number of targets, right? They're not calling his number enough. They're not. Well, I shouldn't say enough because the offense is moving. They're not calling his number enough times for him to get more of those opportunities, and so he just hasn't been a volume receiver for the Cowboys.
That's true.
All right, Luke Schoonmaker, rising star, falling star.
They're using Luke more, and they're trying to get some blocking stuff going with him. Ambar's about to say I hate Luke. I feel like Brevin's a little better. They're not using Brevin for whatever, or they're using Luke more than Brevin. They're throwing the balls, if you want to compare Luke to what he was last year, he's kind of like a similar dude that he was last year. I haven't seen really a step up for him. He's just kind of doing the same old thing. I'm not saying that he's just collapsing or as a player. He's fine, but I would say just like with the Jalen Tolbert thing, like we drafted you to be a 3rd round receiver. Yeah. Man, Schoonmaker's a 2nd round pick. So we would like to see you step up and do what 2nd round picks do, and he just hadn't done that. So plateau not an option, so I just say falling.
Yeah, in a group where there were a bunch of great tight ends,
Laporta was there.
Yeah, it just all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're like,
Mike McCarthy like him.
Yeah, you're in a situation right now
Laporta
where
was there.
Yeah, he absolutely was, and there was talk about him maybe being a 1st round pick with Dallas. I mean, but the thing about it was, to me, with Luke Schoonmaker, the expectations for him coming out of Michigan were much, much higher. He was taken in the 2nd round. It was a very, very, very deep draft when it came to the tight ends. Dallas just selected the one that's probably not the most productive.
Michigan guy, huh? Is that what you said? Michigan guy?
Well, no, there were a lot of tight ends.
No, I'm saying you're saying he's a Michigan guy.
He is a Michigan
Luke
guy.
Is a Michigan.
Absolutely, he's a Michigan guy.
I love Jordan Lewis.
He don't want to. He don't want.
I love Jordan Lewis. I love Jordan Lewis.
For us, at least.
For me,
Lewis outlasted a lot of people here.
Jordan Lewis was a good player, man. He's still balling up there in Jacksonville.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a good player. Go ahead, Amber.
No, I was going to say for me would be falling. And he's a guy that right off the bat, when he came in, I had some unjustified issue because it always bothered me because he always looked very stiff, which is weird. So I don't know. It was a thing in my head. I'm like, oh, he's so stiff. He's so stiff. But then you see the amount of work that he puts in. And you know, all these guys work hard. But there are some that you just notice it when they're going kind of the extra mile. So I do have a different like for him for that sense that I know he puts in the work. I see him putting in the work. So part of me, that sentimental aspect of it, I keep holding hope that at some point we're going to get to see a little bit more of him. But at the same time, I don't know if that's kind of his ceiling. Like, this is where it's at right now, and this is what to expect.
You're right.
It's the problem, though. Some guys are, like, super talented, so maybe after the practice they don't have to hit the jugs as hard. Schoonmaker has to work hard to be here at all. Yeah. Like, he's not a guy that's going to lean on talent at all. Like, he has to work hard just to be competitive with the rest of these guys. So I'm glad he's working hard, but I think this is as high as we're going to get with him. That's just what I think.
That's a good. Yeah.
All right, that's a wrap. We'll be back tomorrow. We will wrap this week up, get you guys ready for Cowboys versus Panthers. Till then, for Voch Lombardi, Bryan Broaddus, and Ambar Garcia, I am Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?